Now, we've all seen a lot of ribs around and about in the country at the moment, but this is a particularly unusual one because here is the new ZAR 95 SL. Now, ZAR are an Italian brand and they build a very distinctive looking rib, and I'll show you what I mean by that. You can see that it has got inflatable tubes, but rather than the tubes running all the way up to the bow, they actually stop some way short. And you can see there's a big GRP moulding that sits on top of them all. So the tubes actually sit within this GRP moulding. They are full rounded tubes, they're not just half tubes. And you can see that up here, they actually go inside the moulding and then they finish, they sort of taper down inside that. But then there is this whole bow moulding that goes a long way forward of that. So one of the big points they want to make is that this is a true 9.5 metre boat. So it's about 31.5 foot, but you can see that all of that space is in fact used. You haven't lost a lot of space because the tubes run out beyond the engines or the bow comes a long way forward, but there's no space in it. This, you get the full use of all the space. Now, the other thing to note is they've got a very unusual hull design. So it's a very deep 4 foot, very nice and narrow, so it cuts through the sea very well into a sort of head sea, but then you've got a big flare out in the moulding up above that. And you can see that these very wide downward facing chines actually eject the water down almost like in a curtain, and then under there are further steps in that trap the air and provide lift. So you've got the benefits of a very nice slender deep 4 foot to help cut through the waves, but then a big flared bow that creates all this extra space up top. And I'm also told that it allows for a very flat ride because you've got this extra weight forward rather than getting a lot of bow lift when you move onto the plane. Helps keeps the bow really planted and you get a lovely flat ride. Now, engine options, you can start with a single 350. This has got the twins, and that obviously pushes the price up. In this particular spec with these engines, it's around about £300,000 including VAT, but obviously twin 350s, that's a lot of power, and it will push this boat along at around about 55, 56 knots. So very capable hull, but also a lot of space. So let's have a look and see what we get. See the nice, well-protected transom area with enough room for those engines to fold up. We've got a ski pole that runs right through the bottom of the boat into the hull, so really firm. We've got good grab rails all around, ideal for tying your fenders onto. You can see these have been fixed here. And then there's a big cutaway in the side here. So when you're actually on board, you get a lovely view of the sea either side, but then you've got nice protected seating area at the back and nice protected seating area up here in the bow. But let's get on board and take a closer look. Nice step on here, and little half steps, a bit narrow, but half step down into the boat. And then the helm position here, we've got 3 position seats. You can see they prop up in that position or all the way up and become a proper bolster. We've got some nice folding teak steps, footrests underneath, and again here for the helm itself we've got storage and access to a lot of the plumbing under there. And then helm station itself, really tall, good tall windscreen, got a hard top overhead. You can see that's on really sturdy stainless steel support, helps keep that nice and rigid. We've got the Suzuki twin throttles here, Suzuki engine control screens here, so you've got access to exactly what they're doing, and then built-in Raymarine system here, and switch gear for all the key bilge pumps, shower, auxiliary, toilet, etc., all on the console here, as well as a quick bow thruster so you can move the bow around. And trim tabs alongside the wheel here. And then moving forward, you can see there is a small, very shallow glove box area there, but ideal just for putting your sunglasses or mobile phone or whatever. This quite striking, angular, slightly curved windshield. It almost looks like it might move, but it doesn't. It's just a lovely curved windshield to send the apparent breeze up and over the helmsman's head. And then this big seating area up forward in the bow. And this is where you really feel that extra width. You can see it's almost squared off that bow area. But even though the hull itself is nice and slender, this is really nice and wide. You've got a good big seating area, and because it's so tall, there's good depth here as well. So you just sit back in here, you feel very nicely secure and protected. And here we've got grab rails all the way around the outside. Got a table here that obviously comes out too, or as you can see, the whole thing can also sink down, and this becomes one big sunbathing area. But we've got good support and cushioning either side. And these seats, because you've got that option of either seating or sun pad, you can see we've got backrest supports here. So when you want to sit at the table, you have the backrest in this position. When you want to put that down and use it as a sun pad, then you have the more laid back headrest. And you can see there's a really good long lounging area there. Speakers underneath, little access under there, and then right up front with that big squared off bow I was talking about earlier, we've also got access to the anchor locker. And you can see there's a standard through hull anchor, an electric windlass that just drops that from the helm. Good built-in cleats. Obviously that can be one of the downsides of a fully tubed rib. You haven't really got necessarily a hard location to fit your cleats. Obviously with this GRP moulding you do get that. And then there's this side deck that comes back down round the helm console and the seats into the main aft cockpit, where you've again got a really good big seating area, nice deep backrest too, so again feels very secure. And underneath the hardtop itself, a proper wet bar. So you can see that's on a lid that will lock down into position. I'm not going to put it down because I've got those latches there. But you can see that folds up. Got a deep sink here, got a 2-ring gas hob here, and then a couple of freezer lockers under here, if I can just get that out of the way. You can see we've got fridge lockers here. Got the brochures in at the moment, but you can see that would normally have all your cold drinks. And then again, little locker under there for storing other bits and bobs. Table, again, that can plug in and out. It can all fold up too, or be removed entirely. And under here you can see this whole deck lifts up to reveal a really big locker under here. And the interesting thing about this is to see just how far back that hull goes. So it does go right the way back to the tubes, either side of the engines. You can see the big water tank here, and then plenty of space for here if you want to put inflatable SUPs, or even a small folding tender or wakeboard skis. Any of that kit can all be stowed down there. So all comes up on electronic struts and gives access to that. And you can see that either side of here we've also got extra storage under the seats themselves, so plenty of good practical storage space on board too. So you can see that all slots back, and then moving forward from this stern seating area, again full walk around decks, and then come back to the cabin. But while we're here, just wanted to point out we've got lights overhead in this hard top, so you've got really good protection, lots of good tubes to hang on to, nice and solid. And then down into the cabin itself, you can see quite a good little sleeping area. We've got cushions that spread all the way across there, go right down into the bow under that seating area. Got plenty of sitting headroom, plenty of space to lie out on the bed, and you can see that under that cushion there is also some storage under there. Open up, you can just about see under there. I haven't got quite enough hands to do that, but there is some storage. You've got a battery under there for the bow thruster. Oh, there we go. And then the cushion comes back over. And arguably more importantly, we've got a proper heads compartment. You can see in here, there's a light up there. So there is some natural light coming out here and a little ventilation. Got a built-in toilet, sink, a little bit of storage, and a pull-out shower from there. So it is a proper little overnight or possibly weekender. Let's just see if I can. They never go back as easy as they come out these, but you can see a little bit of wrestling. That will slide back in there, so it doubles up as the tap for the sink and a pull-out shower with a draining floor, so you can have a shower there if you stay overnight on board. And that's the light switch up there. So there we go. Let's get back out into the cockpit. We'll take one last look at those very distinctive looks. There's that stainless steel anchor, but that is the ZAR 95 SL. Very different looking rib, some really interesting ideas, plenty of power, a very dry, stable ride, we're told, and lots of performance. I don't think you're ever going to need to do much more than 55 knots in a boat like that. But you can see the height of that bow. That's what gives it the really dry ride, as well as that nice, secure seating position well forward. So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed this quick look over the latest ZAR. It's the second biggest model in the range, and all up in this package with all the kit on board this boat, about £300,000. So hope you enjoyed looking around it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll look forward to bringing you the next boat.